Morning everybody, how are you? What a fantastic day, eh? I don't know, but the weather's a bit like some people's attitude, if that makes sense. Up and down and up and down every day. There's only one way you can control that, and it's to control the fear. So, Powerful Ways of Overcoming Fear, we're still on episode 5 now. And to overcome fear right now. So we'll just recap. Getting through fear is a skill that really anyone can learn. The problem is that most people cling to their fears because they believe it's part of who they are. Morning, Stephen. Morning, Andrea. If you aren't ready to face your fears, you probably won't go beyond them, and they'll definitely hold you back. Morning, Francis. Remember, there's nothing wrong with that though. Keep that in mind. Everything will happen in its own time. The point of readiness is always what I talk about. If you keep in mind, it's always small steps towards your goal, and it will happen. It's more or less guaranteed. Morning, Alana. So yesterday I spoke about reading, watching, taking action, positivity, and diet, which is one of the most important things. I have juice every morning, pint of cold pressed juice, veg, fruit, everything you can get, and some organic powders mixed in. Morning, Karen. Pint of that every day. It's brilliant. So let's have a look at some more ways to deal with your fear. So perspective, really. I mean, learning to deal with fear is all about putting your negative thoughts into perspective. We tend to focus too much on the negative, so that by looking at all the options, you often realise that you're making a big deal out of nothing. There are so many things that could happen that's impossible in your mind to predict the future. We aren't psychics, remember. We go through many different scenarios about what could happen. It might happen, it could happen, it will happen, it could happen, it should happen. And it's like, my goodness, there's only one outcome to this. So let's just try and park that and move on and wait for that outcome to happen. Most of the time you can predict that outcome if you overcome your fear. This takes me on to my next one, surrender. Surrendering is to what is powerful, because as long as we try to change what it is, we're constantly in war with reality. Sure, our mind can tell us, that we can't surrender. That's obvious. We may be afraid, but what I found is that when I surrender, I really find peace in what I'm doing. I'm not really giving up. That's not what surrender is all about. Morning, Sarah. It's simply stopping the incessant thinking and trying to control what cannot be controlled. There's a subtle difference, remember. You can still change your life, but it comes at a different place. And it's your story. I've talked about this all the time. What do you tell yourself every day? We tell ourselves our story about fear every single day. If someone doesn't answer us straight away, we often start to go over the various different scenarios in our mind about why they're not answering us. If they say something in a different way, Facebook's a classic example for that, for misinterpretation. When people say certain things, you interpret them in a different way. It's just their way of saying it. So understand. Understanding is a clear way to getting through that. We tell ourselves a story in our heads about how they might not like what we've just said, or even worse. So what's your story? And release control. We want to learn how to control our fear. We want predictability, even though it's impossible to get. When we don't have control, we experience fear. It's a natural result of that. But it's impossible to ever have control of everything. Even if you can swim, remember you can still drown. So you're still not in control. Newsflash. That'll frighten some people. A professional guitar player can still make mistakes and ruin a gig. A string could break. That's him had it. So give up the illusion of control, and you're free to focus on what really matters. Sometimes nothing seems to be happening in life. Morning, Joanna. But we can't see everything that's going on. There are times when we have to really release control and trust life. What we do and what we want, we can do with what we have. But then we relax. So I'll say that in a different way. We do what we can with what we have, but then we relax. So take a deep breath today. I hope you're taking a deep breath with me and let it out. And relax. And I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. Have a great day.